Can everyone hear me? Excellent. Thank you, Doctor. So from the feedback, really at the beginning of this training, I didn't know that there are some beginners. Mostly, I thought everyone would have at least an idea about Photoshop. As you can see, the examples I provided, it is not a project as such, which is our usual training method, is to have a project where we start from at the beginning of the project, go all the way with it, and finish at the end to have a complete, say, cover of a magazine, a postcard, or something like that, where we have a number of tools involved in the in this project. In your case, I thought maybe most of you are teachers and you have been using Adobe Photoshop for a number of years, or maybe at least some time. So I apologize if some of the training at the beginning was fast-paced. As I mentioned last time and today also, please stop me at any moment where you think, if you feel that you're a bit behind or my message is not so clear, because this is online training. I cannot see your faces in most cases, in most time. Not everyone's camera is running, or not everyone's picture is in front of me. So please stop me. So just send me a message. I will always refer to the chat pod to look at your messages. Tell me stop here, or go back a few steps, or you can even turn on your mic and intervene there and tell me just to go steps backward. I will be happy with that. Don't worry. Assalamu alaikum again. Welcome to the second session. Last time, just to recap our last time, we looked at the new features were introduced in Photoshop CS5. Now, even though CS5 is rather an old version compared to what we have today, but I know that many of us users wouldn't go and dig into the application. You have some habits, you continue on these habits from earlier versions, which all these habits, they work, and you can really be productive using those old techniques. But all these new features and new commands are there for you. It will save you time, it will increase your productivity, and definitely in this case, you will learn it so you can pass. I mean, you have to learn these new tools so you can pass the exam. With all dues, let's just maybe start with the bridge, perhaps. You all remember why we start usually from bridge. Let me just share my screen first, I forgot. Okay. I suppose that all of you are, you can see my screen. I'm looking at bridge. Please open the lessons that you copied earlier. And by the way, I also have new lessons today. Apart from those that you have downloaded last time, the Photoshop CS5 folder and CS6 folder, as well as extras folder, I have a very small folder called extras 2. If you don't have it yet, because I shared it today with Dr. Fazal, if you don't have it yet, I will give it to you right now, so you can download the small folder. We'll work on it at a later time today. Let me just open the link there. Okay, here's the link in the chat pod. You may click on it and download the folder. Even if it takes a long time to download, that's fine. We were not going to use it at the early minutes or hour of the session. Is everyone all right? Can you see the link? Thank you. Yep, great. All right, I will go and open Photoshop CS5 folder in the lessons. We have covered a few things last time, like the new refine edge. We used this document to select these two people and extract them. So we call this masking. We masked these two people out using the selection tool or quick selection tool. Then we clicked on the refine edge button on top in the options bar. This is a technique that was introduced back in CS5 where you can extract hard to select areas like the hair in that case. I even showed you an example of a picture of a weed where it was nearly impossible to select with the regular selection tool in Photoshop. So we use this technique as well called refine edge to select that weed. Also, we went into content aware and learned that healing brush and spot healing brush can really select and replace objects with background. So we can select, we selected the cable, we highlighted the cable using spot healing brush. And the technique that was introduced with the spot healing brush is called content aware, where you don't have to really copy any other areas. You just, with the pointer, move over the cable and it will replace cable with the background. Most of the cases, the success rate is above 80%, which is magnificent. 80%, it saves you time. Like, so you finish 80% in a matter of 2-3 minutes. That 20% you have to address the issues with other tools, which is really a productivity enhancement there. We also covered something called Puppet Warp. It was a bit fun to work with, where you can pin areas. So you need to really have multiple layers when you use the Puppet Warp. You go on a loose object on a separate layer, like the elephant here. It's sitting in a separate layer. Pin the elephant and then adjust any part of the object that you want. It's just like liquefy. I told you the other day that I will show you the other technique that we used to have earlier. It's a filter. It's called liquefy. So Puppet Warp is the alternative to liquefy because we didn't have much control in liquefy. Let me just show it to you quickly. I will open the elephant image here. And I will show you how difficult it was to select part of the elephant, which is the trunk in this case, using the filter, liquefy. I will go and scale down brush size. So you see here, I cannot really control, and really I distorted the image badly here. So let me just reset it back. Come on, reset. Doesn't allow me. Filter, liquefy again. Brush smaller. So I want to twist this trunk up front to the front there. Oh, it is bad. Definitely, it's not what we are after. So we have to go. If we go the old method, we'd have to cut off the trunk into pieces manually, then try to turn them using the free transform, and rotate each part. And that's not so convenient. Definitely with the Puppet Warp, it is way more advanced and very intuitive method. So this is a recap of what we had last session. Let's go to another folder here in Photoshop CS5 and open folder numbered 6, ACR, Adobe Camera Raw. I'm looking at the content of this folder in the bridge. And if you look at the format of these images, they are all Camera Raw. What is Camera Raw? Let me just write it in the chat pod, so in case my pronunciation is not so clear. Camera Raw. Berlanti, do you want me to repeat the puppet warp, you mean? Okay. Okay. All right. No problems. Berlanti here. She's requesting to have part of the session, part of the exercise repeated. So I will just repeat it after explaining the Camera Raw. It's called Camera Raw. If you look at the chat pod, just to understand what I'm pronouncing. So raw, it's just like, you remember in old days, guys, when we used to shoot with films. So whether you are shooting with a negative or positive film at that time, the film is your base of reproduction in the future. So you go and shoot with the film, process the film, then keep this film for later use. Maybe you will just bring out the film out and take it again to the processor, photo processor, and tell them, enlarge one of the photos for me. So this way they have original. Here, it is just like that time, and you can look at the version here, or the format. It's called DNG, which means digital negative. Just like the old days when we had negative films. Now we have digital negatives. The advantage of shooting with RAW, of course, not all cameras can shoot with RAW, obviously. You have to have a professional type of cameras. Any camera with a RAW capability will be more expensive than a normal point-and-shoot cameras, because you will have the advantage of shooting high-quality images with perhaps flexibility of reproducing larger file size from it in the future. So for those of you who are going to work in a graphic design courses, you may not use mostly camera raw, but photographers definitely they can relate to the importance of RAW. Let's just start with something here. If you can open the 01 mosaic image here, the elephant, like the grayscale or sepia color, double click on it, please. You see that it doesn't open in Photoshop. Did you notice that? It opens in a dialog window named Camera Raw. Okay, Camera Raw. So it's like a step in between. You cannot open straight into Photoshop. This file format has so many advantages. One of the advantages is, let's imagine that you are that you went to Formula One racing. And this Formula One race, car race, starts sometime in the afternoon all the way in the evening. So the sun, when you started shooting, sun is above your head and everything is light and bright. But eventually you have to consider changing the settings on the camera when it's dark. Other settings that you need to change always is when a car is far away and when a car is close to you. You need to zoom in, zoom out, and you need to adjust the camera's focusing. You cannot do all these things in Formula One, frankly. By the time you look at the car, or you have noticed the car coming, it is already beside you or past you even. So there's no time to control your cameras on the spot, especially in sports. When you're looking at soccer game, you will see them carrying two cameras on their shoulder, two cameras, one for far away, like a zoom out, so they can look at look at the goal in distance, or for close objects. So they don't have time to adjust cameras. When you shoot with camera raw, you just set the camera once, then shoot. Definitely, you have to consider focusing, because there's something. I mean, you cannot just fix the out of focus issue later. So you have to consider focus first, but then the light and dark contrasts, the exposures and what have you, all can be addressed later on the computer, because you have all the time later in Photoshop to address the issues in Photoshop. So what do you need to do? Just shoot with RAW, because when you shoot with RAW and you open the image here in this dialog window, it's called Camera Raw. If you look at it, if you look at all these panels, check this out. When I'm going to click, I'll just expand my panel. Here on the right side, Dimitri, I hope this time, because you were saying that the pointer is not showing clearly. Can you tell me if you can see the pointer? I'm clicking on the panels on the side, so we have the basic features, the tone curve, detail, grayscale. Most of these features are found usually on the DSLR cameras, those black professional cameras. So so here you can address any issue that you left when you were shooting. So this is the main objective of using Camera Raw, is that you shoot, then you come back on your computer where you have all the time to fix the photos before you take it into Photoshop. Even though Photoshop is the place where you do most of these fixing, but since we are having negative, so this is like the dark room, where you go in the dark room in early days, in old days, and process the negative in here. So you have more advantages, more features. Maybe you don't have all the tools in Photoshop, but as far as improving quality of your negative, here's a place. So for instance, if you go please on the camera calibration, here it looks like a camera icon, camera calibration. And from the process, please choose 2003, then go back to the current one where it says 2012. So the engine of this camera has been improved a lot since it was released back in 2003. So it's now 10 years. It was improved a lot. And there is no really much things here that I would need to address. I mean, as far as the old and new, just that, see, if I choose 2003, you will see this exclamation mark at the bottom right corner of the image. Tells you that you need, really, it's better that you update. So you click here, it will process it in the new process. So this is a good thing if you are opening an old DNG image or old RAW image. And you see this exclamation mark, you know that you have opened it a number of years back, and now it's time for you to update the image. It will give you more enhanced image quality. What else I wanted to show you here? If you look at the bottom where it says there's a blue writing there, click on this. It's a hyperlink. Click on this blue writing where it says Adobe RGB 1998. It opens the dialog window. Click on the depth, color depth. For those of us who know the differences between 8-bit per channel versus 16-bit per channel, you know, mostly when you shoot with digital cameras in JPG format, they're all 8-bit per channel. That's why when you compare raw image with a typical JPG image, you find raw image is massive in file size compared to the JPG, smaller, like maybe a 2 megabyte JPG, the equivalent of it maybe 16 megabyte. So definitely there is more details, more information stored. Some details are unnoticeable sometimes, really, but you have more details there. The advantage is also here. If you look at the resize to fit, no, not from here. Not from here, rather. I will, just a second. Okay, if I check this out. Yeah, not with this image, but I can enlarge an image. I can double the size, triple the size, without affecting its details, its sharpness, because this is why we have more color depth in raw file. Imagine that you, let's say you want to make a pizza for people, and you start with a dough. So I tell you, look, you have this big dough, and you need to make this pizza for 5 people. You spread the dough over the table, and you want to make it large so it fits 5 people, but then it breaks up because it becomes so thin that you cannot spread it beyond that limit. With raw, I mean, I'm just giving you an example here. With raw, you start with a large dough. So you spread it and make it fit for 5 people, enough for 5 people, and yet it's thick in size. So you have so much information there. And 1 second, if you don't mind, just 1 second here. تفضل مازن. تفضل مازن. بس هذه ما في غيرها. لازم أنا أروح بنفسي. Okay. I apologize for this. It was a bit rather important here. One more time. So the more information you can have. Just a second, please log in with your first name. Yeah. So what you can do is, if your camera has the shooting with RAW capability, start using it. Try it. When you double-click on the image, it will open in this dialog window. Please close this image. Let's just open something else to show you what we can do with RAW. So please open back to Bridge. Please open another file called 01 noise. Once again, this is a RAW file. If you zoom with Control plus or Command plus, if you zoom on the top of the building, top of the photo, just like in Photoshop, you have here the zoom tool, just like a magnifying lens. You can use this to zoom on top of the building. And maybe you notice that there is an issue. I zoomed at about 100%, actually, 100%. You notice there is a problem with this photo. It got noise. Those small dots, colored dots. This is called noise. If you notice them. Okay. We need to address this issue. See, where noise comes from, when you shoot in the dark or when you have a higher ISO standard on your camera, you can change the settings on your camera to select a high ISO. This ISO, the more you go up in numbers, the more sensitive your camera will be. So just like, again, in old days when you go and buy a film that is 600, 800, or 1,200 perhaps or more sensitivity. So it picks more light if you're shooting in dark. So this is the problem. Yes, we can shoot in the dark, but you will end up with noise. Now, Photoshop used to have a filter called remove noise inside Photoshop. But you remove noise in that filter, you end up with a blurry image. You bring back sharpness, you get noise. So it's just you go into a circle where you fix something, you ruin something else. While now in Camera Raw, you can open an image. If you go to Detail section, those two triangles looks like pyramids. This is Detail. Click on it, please. At the bottom of the dialog window or this panel on the side, you will find noise reduction. We have two types of noise, everyone. We have color noise, which is these RGB dots that you see in front of you, color dots. This is called color noise. Then we have luminance noise. Luminance noise when you see black and white dots. We can fix them both. So if you drag color noise to the right, I dragged it about something like 25. You really get rid of the noise, color noise quickly. And if you look at the building, turn off, turn on the preview. See here where I'm clicking, it's on top. If you cannot see it, please let me know. It's a check mark. Turn off, turn on, to see that maybe you have lost some of the sharpness. So if you have lost sharpness in the photo, reduce color noise slider down a bit. And also you can drag luminance, because now I can see in this image I have both luminance and color noise infected this image. So this is a very, very good way to remove noise. I know people, photographers particularly, who bought Photoshop CS5 back then. I mean, they didn't want to upgrade immediately, but once they saw this feature, they immediately went and upgraded to CS5 because of this feature. This feature, or they used to have really to buy, beside Photoshop, they used to buy another tools, another plugins to remove noise. Now it's built in. Any questions? About Camera Raw or about noise reduction? Okay. Where did you open the picture from? It's in the in Bridge. It's lesson Photoshop CS5 folder. Then you go folder number 6. It's called ACR, or Adobe Camera Raw. Now the picture I opened, of course, here is called 01 noise. Okay. Close this image, please. Close this image. And if you open another image in this folder called add grain, 01 add grain, this coffee cup. Okay. There used to be a trend in the market where so many photos you see on billboards, posters, they have a grain. They were grainy, really. It was like a trend. Even if your image is clear, sharp, and all, they go and add a grain to it. So I think there are many places in Photoshop where you can add grain, but one of the again easy places is Camera Raw. So what you can do, let's try something here. On the side, I will go to HSL first. Let me just, before I add the grain, hue, saturation, lightness. This is one of the new features where it was improved in Camera Raw. HSL, hue, saturation, lightness. You can convert any image to grayscale from here. And after you have converted it to grayscale, you can still control part of the image that are red or whatever. So here in this image, it was really not that much color, but they were brown and yellow a lot. So I can work on the yellows, even though it's grayscale. How about if you click on default or even remove, convert to grayscale back, right? Try it, please. Okay. Let's just go to something else. In this image, I will go to Effects, FX. This is called Effects, right? Where you can add the grain. So this is the place where you can add the grain, really. So drag the amount as much as you want. You can even control grain size. I'll make it so large. I'll even zoom at 100% to see how it will look like. This is really too much. This is not that much, really. I wouldn't go this much with it, but I'm just exaggerating here to show you the differences. Drag it back. So adding grain is not a must, really. It's just kind of an effect for those who desire it. At the bottom, we have post-crop vignetting. We had crop tool before in Camera Raw, but after you crop, if you have vignette in the image. Now, first of all, let me just explain what's vignette. Vignette is this word, of course, just in case you cannot hear me well over the microphone. This is vignette. Okay, vignette is an effect that happens on the edges or the corners of a photo because of the nature of lens. The lens is circular, and image format is rectangle. So what happens is everything in the middle. As you go closer to the middle of your photo image, the lens can detect color and light very well. But as you go closer to the edge of the corner of the photo, the lens will be weak there. So you may get a white vignette or a dark vignette. We'll show it to you now how it looks like. But first, that's just to crop the image if you like, if you want to, of course, but you don't have to. This is called the crop tool there on top. Crop tool. Okay. Here's the crop tool. I will go and crop the image like so. But after I cropped it, of course, hit enter once, hit return once only. If you hit twice, it will close this dialog window. So hit it once. You crop the image, but then you may have lost vignetting. Now you can add vignetting. If you go to the post-crop vignetting, you can choose, for instance, any of those options like highlight priority, drag the amount to the right or left. So you add white as if you drag to the right, you add black if you drag to the left, and you can control midpoint to extend or push away vignetting all the way to the corners only. Roundness, if you want to have a fairly rounded vignetting or a smooth round vignetting. This is one of the advantages of Camera Raw. You have some new features there. Click OK to close the image. Any questions? I need to address Berlanti's question regarding Puppet Warp. I will just show you quickly, Berlanti. But before I do that, if there's any question regarding Adobe Camera or the enhancement in Adobe Camera, I would say. Because Adobe Camera was there since version 2003. or since version Photoshop CS3, really. Okay, I'll just go a step backward to the Puppet Warp. So Berlanti, please go and open Puppet Warp folder. It's number 5 in Photoshop CS5. Open the Elephant Puppet Warp. And you will notice that we have 2 layers in there. We have 2 layers. One is the background and one is the elephant. So make sure that you're working on the elephant layer. Go to Edit menu, choose Puppet Warp. And now if you go to the elephant and click on a number of places to pin or to place pins, this will hold these areas. These pins will hold these areas so it won't move. Then what I will do, I mean, the more pins, the better, really. Then what I will do, I will just pin the tip of the trunk and then move it to the area that I want. So I want to change the image. So this is what you can do. Yes. Currently, it's not a tool. Puppet Warp is a command. It's a command. So if you go to Edit menu and choose Puppet Warp from there, and then there are no tools. Just click on a number of places on the elephant to lock these places in place. Okay. Did this answer your question, Berlanti? Okay. There is another question about Camera Raw from Laura. So, Laura, this is a very important question that you asked. Regarding Camera Raw, I will go to the folder, Camera Raw folder, ACR, and we'll show you something there. Let's say I will go and crop this image, the coffee cup. I will crop it, alter it, so cropped, add grain, and even have vignetting to it, applied there. If I click on Save, this is the only dialog window in Photoshop or in any other application. I haven't seen such thing in any other application. You have Save on the bottom left corner of the dialog window. I have Open, I have Done, I have Cancel. So what are those? How come I can, well, if I do Save, why do I have Done? Why do I have Open? When you click on Open, it will go and open the image in Photoshop to continue working on it. But in Photoshop, definitely. This time is going to be in the Photoshop environment. So this dialog window, the Adobe Camera Raw dialog window, is just a step in between. You cannot just open the photo in its native format as Camera Raw in Photoshop. By default, it will open this dialog window. It's called Camera Raw dialog window. So this format, you have to address some of the basic issues here, then continue to work on it in Photoshop by click on the Open button. You can also save the image into multiple. I clicked on Save. I can save in multiple formats. I can save as digital and negative, JPEG, TIFF, and PSDs. And I can save a number of copies really from here at the same time. So yeah, definitely. The answer to your question is you can save, but what I will do, I will not save image, I will not open the image in Photoshop. I'm going to click Done. When I click Done, it just closes the image and that's it. See here, it's cropped. Image is cropped, but it shows me these two new symbols. That means this image was altered. This is a raw image from Nikon camera. The native RAW format from Nikon is NEF. So if I do the following, if I right-click on the image in Bridge, right-click on the image, choose Develop Settings, so just the same wording that we used in develop films in old days in the darkroom or the processor. So here I'm going to select Clear Settings. It clears the image settings and reset it back as shot, as the image was shot from the camera. I open it again. You see here is also we have as shot inside Camera Raw. So this is also a major feature perhaps in Camera Raw is that you're never going to destroy original negative. You can alter it and open as many versions of it, yet you can go back to original and reset it back to be as shot. As the light hits the sensor, that's it. It will store this image forever. You go and develop it, develop as many copies of it, but you can always reset back to its original size, original shape. Yeah, this is really nice because original image is always intact. You will not be destroying original image unless you literally delete it, trash it, and delete it from your hard disk. That's it. Otherwise, you can always reset it back to as shot. So, if you say you darken an image, produce this image in your publication, then a year later you had second opinion and you want to revert back to its original nature, or you want to lighten it this time, not darken it. So you can always change what you have done in the future, in the back. I'm going to close this, and go back to Bridge. In Bridge, let's move to HDR, folder number 7, HDR. Anybody heard about the HDR? Anybody with iPhone? We'll just do something here. Let me see. Oh. Extras. If you don't mind, I assume you all have downloaded the extras folder from last session. If you go to the extras folder, I have left you there a better images called HDR. Okay, high dynamic range. Let me just now spill the beans, as they say. What is HDR? High dynamic range. Usually when you shoot with camera, especially digital cameras, you'll have to how to have a large icon preview in a Bridge. If you look there at the bottom, Lena, at the bottom there is a slider. Drag the slider to the right and to the left. So you'll have large or small icons. Okay. So I will show you something here. I will select all 5 images. And you can, sometimes you can even preview. So for instance, let's say I'm in the design studio and my boss say, where's the images that our client provided us? So you tell him, well, here they are in the Bridge. So there are 20 images. Instead of showing it to him in such a small icon, what you can do, you can go to a View menu and choose Review Mode or Command B or Control B. Try it, Command B. Then use the right arrow or left arrow to move and look. So you can tell your boss, well, here it is, boss. These are the images. so you can quickly see them in such a review mode. The high dynamic range, or HDR, is as follows. In this area, in this location, the photographer tried to find a middle exposure where he can or she can grab the details in the roof, in the ceiling, and on the floor, in the ground. But on the ceiling, it's too dark, and the ground is too bright. So either he goes in the middle, which is this one, or too dark. But you pick, if you go too dark exposure, so underexpose, the ceiling will be too dark, but you get all details on the ground. Or too bright, you get details on the ceiling. You can see all details there in the ceiling, but you lost details on the ground, on the floor. What you can do, you can take multiple shots of the same scene by changing the settings on your camera. Usually it's the aperture, the f-stop. Have you tried this before, where you can change the f-stop on your camera, or we call it aperture? You change it, take a shot, change it again, take another shot. The more you take, the better. And later you combine all these multiple shots into one photo. So you'll get the good out of both worlds. Dark areas will be, you'll see details in dark area, and you'll see details in the bright area. So let's do the following. Escape, so you can see all images in the bridge. Select them all, please. Go to Tools menu, on top. Photoshop, and choose Merge to HDR. So it will go and merge these 5 images into one photo called HDR. This might take a while because some images are large here. Excellent. Anybody having issues? You're okay? All right. On the right-hand side in the HDR dialog window, you can select some of the presets here. Select some of the presets. For instance, from presets, you can choose surrealistic. That's really aggressive. I mean, like if you want to do some arts, you can work with the surreal preset here. Or how about if you go monochromatic, so it becomes all grayed out. Photorealistic, or from preset choose saturated. So let's just try saturated. And I will go and drag exposure in the middle of this dialog window a little bit up. So this is just like in camera. You are saturating, like you're shooting with, so I drag it all the way so you can see how the effect is so harsh. Okay. Play with these options. You can even have the curve, so you can play with the curve if you like. We'll just go back to saturated. And check this out. In the mode, remember we said JPGs normally is an 8-bit. You remember that pizza dough thingy. So a normal JPG, it's 8-bit. Camera Raw is 16. HDR You can even go to the 32. 32, which even technology nowadays cannot produce so many information from 32. Like most of our screens produce 24 bit per channel. So this is some really advanced where you can have a really heavy image, heavy with content, heavy with information. Okay, so let's click OK if you're happy with the result at the moment. I chose saturation from the dialog window. From preset. And by the way, regarding ghosts here, remove ghosts. Really, don't misunderstand this. I mean, you will not catch ghosts if you shoot in HDR or you. Actually, this what happens here. Say because we have 5 images. If you look at the bottom, we have 5 images. Let's say in one image, the wind. Blown in one image, or a bird passed by, or an airplane, or somebody moved a car, maybe. So you will have, because we have, this is a combination of 5 images, what we have here in front of us. We will see a ghost of a car if a car passed by, or a cyclist, or a bird, because that person appears in one photo, not in all of them. So the person will be like a silhouette or a ghost. So you can remove ghosts from here. It will look at the photo and compare them. It will compare and see which one that doesn't have, that doesn't show in all images. It will remove it. Click OK. Okay, Mr. Gibson, in Bridge, this is the advantage of Bridge, is that it interacts seamlessly with Photoshop. So if you have multiple images like these here, so this is a question from Mr. Gibson, you select them all, you go to Tools, Photoshop, and you can have them all opened in Photoshop simultaneously using this command. Now this is what I have done. Okay, back to Photoshop. Now, of course, the image is open. You can address so many issues here. You can go to the menus and work some more on the image. One thing I have to mention, in the HDR dialog window, in the high dynamic range dialog window, if you make your image 32-bit, then you will mostly not be able to apply any of those filters, maybe only 1 or 2 filters, because Photoshop cannot utilize the image with the 32-bit per channel. I mean, you have only few options that will work there. And why would you? I mean, if you're going to print on laser printer or inkjet printer, it will print always as 8-bit per channel. Even commercial printers, it will print 8-bit per channel. Usually, we keep only 32-bit per channel if you want to maybe impress somebody with details, but only on screen, as I figure. You cannot, well, at least you cannot produce something on paper out of 32-bit per channel yet. So we need to address or think about these consequences when you work with HDR. If you're going to print, make it 8-bit per channel. You can go with a 16-bit per channel. 16-bit per channel you can print on inkjet format. You can, but not 32. Any question about HDR? Of course, nowadays with the iPhone and so many cameras, simple point-and-shoot cameras, you have HDR there, where you can really click multiple clicks on the same in the same scene and combine the image on the fly. Okay. In the extras folder again, in the extras folder, please open the image that's named Folks HDR. This image. Now the HDR became so popular that a number of years now we see galleries only for HDR. Everyone shows their capabilities, their skills, shooting in HDR and displaying details in hard to reach areas. I have seen a winner photo 2 years ago, a winner photo in one of the galleries. This guy is Saudi, in Jeddah, and he shot in a street at 3 o'clock a.m. So it was very dark. Only street lights were there. Deserted, of course, that's the whole point. He wanted to shoot the street deserted. And when he shot in HDR, so he shoots multiple images. I don't know how many images. I think it was 8 or something. As I said, the more the better. Shot 8, combine them all in HDR. You will be able to see details on the grass that is in the shadow under a palm tree, and it's 3 a.m. in the morning. This is how much details you can get out of HDR. Of course, you have to spend some time tweaking the sliders in HDR dialog window. So this HDR, the high dynamic range, became so popular that Adobe gave us a fake HDR even for such image. We have only single shot here. We don't have multiple shots to combine it and get the most out of it. If you go to image menu, adjustments, then pick HDR toning. This is just toning here. It's just like a fake HDR. Select it, please. And look at how the image was enhanced a lot. You have bright colors and what have you. And you have same presets kind of that we had in HDR. Surreal, photorealistic, saturated. You can try them all. But again, this is not a real HDR. It's just that it mimics HDR effect. So this is called HDR toning. Okay. Any questions on HDR? Any question on HDR? High dynamic range. There is nothing done in human eye to grab details. I mean, the photo that we worked with here, this photo, for instance, when we are standing there, we can see details on the floor, details on the ceiling without an issue, really. Unlike cameras cannot grab, it will concentrate on a spot and grab details on the spot. You can even have an average, but even average will not give you all details in both dark area and light area. Our eyes have the best technology, if we can say, where you can really grab the information in dark, and your eyes adjust in an instant, adjust to darkness or lightness quickly. So how about if we go to extras folder again and bring this island girl. I'm going to show you a very old technique. I mean, not very, very old, but about 10 years old technique. I'm sure some of you know it already. Yeah, Heather, definitely. You need a tripod, you guys. You need to have either tripod or this is the best option, and of course a hand trigger for the shooter there. Or you can, if you don't have a tripod, just ask somebody to stand still and put it over his shoulder, or no, definitely not. Just put it on a wall, on a roof of a car, something like that, because you will have multiple shots, and definitely you need to align these shots. I will show you some trick right now, Heather, since you mentioned it, but in a second. Guys, if you can open the Island Girl, please. Island Girl. And now for some of you, this is an old thing. I just want to bring this out because sometimes we struggle with such photos. By the way, we'll have a break in 10 minutes time, so bear with me, please. This is a photo that has a problem. This girl is sitting in the shadow while my digital camera is reading the highlight in the background. To fix this problem, well, apparently, if I want to fix this problem, I should during the shooting time, I should have used my flash. Make the flash. So use force flash to shoot even in the morning. So well, it's too late now, so we need to fix it with Photoshop. Before we used to isolate the dark areas from highlight areas, then go and fix them. So this might take half an hour for perfecting a selection. In Photoshop, since Photoshop CS3, you can go to Image menu, Adjustments, Shadows, Highlights. Am I going too fast here? Okay. With the Shadows Highlights dialog window, I mean, we have two simple sliders, or you can have even more complex control. With two simple sliders, you simply control shadows. You can see here on top, shadows, and you can control highlights. If I drag the shadow slider, I lighten or darken shadows. For highlights, you can darken or lighten highlights. So this way, if the image originally was suitable for trash, really, I wouldn't go and show this photo to anybody. I will tell them, look, I was there on this island, but then it's really bad. Now I can. Even though I ended up with a little bit of noise in some areas, but that's not a big issue if I'm not going to really print this image on a cover of a magazine or anything. You can just show it to other people about your latest trip to Seychelles, for instance. So this is a very good technique. And by the way, I mean, this is, I show people this technique in advanced training, and they would tell me there's nothing advanced about it. There isn't, but if it's something that used to take us about half an hour to fix, now we can fix in a matter of seconds, then definitely it's advanced for me. I would consider this to, or recommend this to everyone to use, really. See here, when I showed more options, I can control way much more than with two sliders, shadows and highlight, and even the color correction, because I can see now the palm tree when I zoomed at 100%. I have something what we call color aberration, where color shifted slightly, but this is not something that I can fix here, but I can definitely address some issues right here. Close document. Do you have any questions? Can you clarify shadows and highlights? So you looked at the image, Lena. The image was, so for instance, you go to Wild Wadi in summer day, and you know, in summer here in UAE, in this Middle Eastern part of the world, we have a very, very bright day, or sort of very bright light, and the light is scattered. It's not, we don't have much contrast because of the hazy sky most time of the year. So what we have, the light comes from everywhere. You stand in the shadow, you stand in the shade, I mean, and you take a shot in the shade in Wild Wadi, and nothing shows behind you. You are dark. The background is too bright. So instead of throwing away the photo after you've seen it at home, you don't have to throw it away right now. Open the image menu, adjustments, shadow highlights, and fix it from here. Because shadow highlight will isolate automatically without any interference from your side. It will isolate shadows and highlight, so you can adjust each of those areas separately. Does that answer your question? You can. Maybe you want to try it, Dr. Ken. You may want to try it. I didn't try this image. I will just do it right now. I'll open the image and try the HDR toning. This is new in Photoshop CS5. Well, it's brilliant. It's nice. It's just that I don't have real control as far as the shadows separately from the highlight. Yep. Anybody want to contribute?
What I meant here
yes, Lena.
Is that in Photoshop, I know what shadows means, but I mean in Photoshop, I mean, how does it know which one is the dark and which one is the, what's the concept? Is that dark pixels? I was just trying to get the concept of highlights is related to lights and shadows is related to lights also. Just wanted to see what's the difference.
Right. See, Photoshop, this is the basic or the fundamentals of Photoshop. When they built Photoshop back in 1991, this was the fundamental, perhaps, basis of Photoshop, is that it can understand histogram. So here I opened histogram. If you go to window panel, histogram, to make it visible, I will just make it larger. I will expand the view of this histogram. Okay. And for the channels, I will just go and choose RGB. So you can see. Now here it reads light. Histogram reads light. And for those of us who have a professional camera, you can display histogram on your camera when you shoot. So it will tell you whether your image is balanced. We call it tonal range. So the tone overall of your image is balanced. Let me just go and open unbalanced image here. If you give me a chance, 1 second, I'll try to find one. Maybe I will go to bridge. I guess. This is another image here. Do you see like the mountain shape, right? The right side is the highlight, left side is shadows, middle part is the mid-tone. So this is the core of Photoshop. This is how it reads any image. It understands where is the highlight, where are the shadows, and tell you if the overall tonal range of an image is balanced. So here it tells me that the image is not really balanced because this image was shot in the morning. If I go to the adjustments levels, okay, the good old levels, everyone maybe knows about levels. This is how professional will go and fix their photos usually. They go to image menu, adjustments, from submenu choose levels. Here I have the same histogram, and you can see here I have the white triangle stands for highlight, black triangle stands for shadows, gray triangle stands for mid-tone, which is the middle area. I'll drag shadows and look at Look at the histogram there on top, how it's adjusting now. Drag from right. See, I'm getting the contrast in my image. Let me just turn off and on my preview. Before, after. I get the contrast in the image. So without really much of explanation, Photoshop do understand where are the shadows, highlights of an image. This is something like a second nature to a Photoshop user. If you go to open any image in Photoshop, bring out the image menu, from image menu, choose adjustments, shadows, highlight. It will understand and it will split your image without identifying really to the user where is the shadows and highlights. It will just identify it all by itself. So you can work on it in that way. Did I explain it well? Lena?
Yeah. Yes, I'm still on. Yeah,
yes, you are still on.
I'm gonna mute myself. Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, very clear. Yeah, it's a big subject. All of this we're just having an idea now.
But Lena, of course, when you're going to prepare, inshallah, for the exam, and you will go to the help menu, as I explained in first session, you will read from the help like the user manual I told you about under help menu. You will find all these examples, all these details. So don't feel that you are left out of some information. Of course, in this training, we will not be able to cover everything really. We'll hardly cover like 30% of Photoshop. So there's a major task on your shoulder to go and read more on these tools. Once again, there are so much information under help. Let's have a break, everyone. When we come back, unless you have a question, when we come back, we'll work on the lesson that I left, the new extras that I left for you. So please download. Excuse me. Please download extras 2 folder. If you're having any issues, please let me know right now. Extras 2. I left you on the chat pod. I left you the URL there to download it. So refer to the chat pod. I will post it one more time. Here it is. No. Okay. Here it is one more time. Here's the link to download extras 2. We'll see you back. How much time do you want? 10 minutes maybe, or 15? So for those who want to smoke or go to pray, have a snack, 10 minutes?
Let's make it 15 minutes, Syed, yeah? It's now 3:30, so everybody should be back 3:45.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We'll see you back then. Thank you.